Hey there guys, Andrew Bebe here. Today I'm going to show you a car that I purchased, more of a replacement for the Corolla that I had before that I used to drive for Uber. Well, I had to replace that car because basically that car was totaled. And I'll go inside and talk about the details of the car a little more. You've seen most of the exterior shots. I do like the wheels of this Corolla here. So let's go inside the car and I'll talk about it a little bit, about the make and trim of this car and just the story in general of how I got this car. So let's do that. So we're in the Corolla now. I'm going to talk about how I got this car because for those of you who are familiar with my channel, you know I had a 2018 Corolla that looked very, very identical to this. Now this is an older model. It's a 2015. Yes, it's technically older than, by 3 years, that is technically older than my 2018 model, but I'm going to tell you a story about that. A quick little story time here. I was involved in an accident in my 2018 Corolla. And if you go back to my YouTube videos and you scroll down a little bit, you'll see where I talk about a car accident that I was involved in. Now, at the time, I was told by the insurance company, my insurance company, that it was going to be something that was repairable and totally fixable. But what ended up happening was the car was totaled because there was damage that was further discovered. So it was a really, really big bummer that my car was totaled. And what even made it more so a bummer is that I still had a car payment on that car. Now, here's the good thing. I only owed about $3,000 left, a little over $3,000 left on the car loan. Meaning that when my insurance company paid me for the total loss payout of that 2018 car, the Corolla, they paid the lien holder first. And so the lien holder is the bank, the institution that I owed money on, $3,000, a little over $3,000. They paid that first. But because the car was worth $19,000, I basically got a little under $16,000 that I got to keep for myself. And fortunately, I found this 2015 Corolla. The 2018 Corolla had about 62,000 miles on it, and then this one has about 88,000. So it's a little bit more mileage, yes, but if you know Corollas and Toyotas in general, they're very, very reliable. And so, you know, I bit the bullet and service history was there. I actually got this at a Toyota dealership, which is gave me peace of mind because I like to buy things from an actual. I don't like to go to a shady dealership and not really know the history of the car. When you buy a used car, please, please, I urge you, find out the service history of the car to make sure there was no accidents. It's a clean title, and that all of the oil changes and maintenance was done on time. I checked that rather extensively on this car. Okay, so moving on, with that $16,000, a little, well, actually was, forgot the exact amount, but it was close to $16,000. I was able to get this car and pay it flat out. So what that means is, and this is where I think the accident was probably a blessing, I ended up purchasing this car flat out, meaning I own this car. There is no car payment on this car. And it's quite nice because I do drive for Uber. And as you know, I have a Lexus IS 250 as well as my personal car. So part-time Uber driving, I'm not putting a ton of miles on this car. So it's actually pretty good. And it's also what makes it even better is that it's paid off. This is a paid off car. Both of my cars, I have the pink slips too. Let me tell you something. If you don't have a car payment, it's a very liberating experience. And let me tell you, I enjoy the savings. But anyways, that's a story. The car was totaled. I ended up getting this car because, yeah, it's unfortunate that insurance had to total out the 2018 Corolla. But, you know, sometimes you don't have any control over that because the damages were rather extensive. So that's going to be it with the discussion of what happened and how I got this car. And so let me just show you, since you've seen the outside of the car, I'm just going to switch the camera angle a bit so you could see a little bit more of the interior. And let's go ahead and do that right now. In the intro of this video, there was a couple shots of the interior of the steering wheel here and the radio. But this is going to be larger view of the interior. So let's just get started here. This is a Toyota Corolla, 2015 model. And I actually think that it's a very nice car, you know. You got Bluetooth here and all of that stuff. Of course, I got my stand here for when I drive for Uber. I do like the color contrast here of this gray and the black. Now, unlike my Lexus IS 250, this just has standard cloth seats, which I am a little bit concerned about, because if you drive for Uber, a lot of people are going to be sitting back here, right? And I'm going to be worried about detailing this a little bit. The one thing I liked about my 2018 Corolla was that it was black, as in the fabric was black, so you couldn't really tell that it was dirty. This time around, I'm going to have to invest in somehow finding ways to clean the cloth. But anyways, let's go to the back here. Just your standard, typical back seat, as you could see. Let me go ahead and sit back here a little bit. Plenty of space. See, the Corolla is not as big as the Camry, but I will say it still is it's still a very spacious car, I believe. Now, if you get the Toyota Yaris, now that's a small car. And I don't think they even make Toyota Yaris's anymore. But anyways, that's going to be the interior there. Let me just show you the trunk real quick, I guess. So you have a standard trunk here. As you could see right there, it says Corolla. Fairly spacious. Very good for Uber, because a lot of passengers are going to be bringing their luggage and stuff, especially when they're dropping them off and picking them up from the airport. Then one last thing I'm going to show you. Oh, that's the backing camera, by the way. One last thing I'm going to show you is the hood. I'm going to pop the hood so you could see the engine of the car. And so let's do that. Under the hood of a Toyota Corolla, you have a VVTi engine. This is a 4-cylinder engine right here. And it's actually a very reliable engine. This has the CVT transmission, but don't worry, it's not like a Nissan. It's not going to snap on you at before 100,000 miles. But you got the battery there. Just your typical 4-cylinder engine. And yeah, it's a very reliable engine. I expect this to last me a long time. These Corollas are typically known to go above 200,000 miles. And this car hasn't even broken 100,000 miles. So definitely an engine here that I would say is dependable. And yeah, that's the engine right there. In conclusion, I will say that I'm very, very happy with my purchase here. And if you could see in the windshield there, you could see the Uber stickers. But anyhow, I'm very glad that I replaced my 2018 Corolla with this Corolla. Same generation, so it feels exactly the same as my older car. But I think the greatest victory of all is the fact that, and I mentioned this when I was telling you the story here, is that it is a fully paid for car. No more car payment. That feels good, I tell you. But that's going to conclude my discussion here about the Toyota Corolla. This is probably not really, I mean, I wouldn't consider this a review of the car. Maybe I could do that in another video. But it was just to show you what, kind of an update from my accident, and to show you what I replaced it with. But until next time, I'll see you in the next video, whatever that may be. And I should be leaving soon anyway, because my battery's at like 5%. So before I get cut off, goodbye. See you next time in the next video, and God bless. Toyota Corolla, definitely recommended. And if you're actually looking for a car, you could never go wrong with Toyota. Very reliable. I'll see you next time, and bye-bye now. God bless.